We just kicked this campaign off about 2.5 days ago. Conversion rate's pretty good. Cost per conversion's really high. This is a new campaign running to collect cold leads for a hook on the ebook side, focusing on the sleep industry, um, insomnia, stuff like that. Got the pretty low budget on it right now because we're just kind of filling out what's going on with the different audiences based on the different pixels. This one you can see that we're running on the, we're targeting uh, females and males. And honestly, the male audience is much more costly, about 3 to 4 times than the female audience. However, it's also about the same size, bigger than just the female audience. So there's going to be some things that we're going to do there on the testing side outside of what's already been done here. Obviously, I know it's working and I'm setting as such. So if we look at this, the cost per conversion is high on the 14th of May. You can see that it's at 6 point. Let me let's make it easier to read. Okay. So this is really our first day. Click-through rate's pretty low, kind of going top to bottom on the 14th. Click-through rate's low. Cost per click's really high, which led to low impressions and clicks, and running private budget. Did get a 2 out of 3 conversion rate, which yay. It still doesn't really prove anything. Let's go over here and look at this. Our cost per conversion obviously came down to about $2 Aussie dollars. We're looking at out of 16 clicks that have come through, we're looking at 9 of those opted in to our list, which still solid. Anything above 55% is doing very, very well. I know a lot of people out there probably wish they could get to that, Stephen. It can be a struggle, certainly for everyone. So, and certainly small amount of data once again. So you really can't base a whole lot. Let's kind of look over once again. So it'll be yesterday. 4 clicks, 50% converted to. But once again, we're paying a really, really expensive cost per conversion. So from here to today, what happened is the campaigns were run to gather the data. The data has been gathered, and now it's off to, optimizing them so that today we can increase the amount of clicks that we're going to, receive, and be able to convert those. And today we're showing 2 conversions on 1 click. I see some wonky data. Obviously, this is a spot for that. But once again, it's all about you need to always cross-reference, cross-check data because sometimes it can be way off. And when that happens, it really is a disaster because you're looking at your list and you're wondering why in the world are we not converting at the rate that we show here. And there's a few reasons, we'll get into that later. But for right now, let's just focus on this. Really, the only thing that I'm looking at here data-wise is obviously the relevancy score is really, really bad. Relevance score is important. It's kind of like on the AdWords side. It translates into your cost per click, and that's going to explain really why we have such a high conversion rate. 35 group, 45 through 54 is solid, and obviously 65 plus has been converted very well down here. It's at 200%. Once again, wonky data. Could be some people that maybe some internal sharing or I'm not. We'll get into that too later video. But right now, the point of this is to see, okay, based on these age groups, we kind of have an idea what's converting, where we need to be focusing our attention. Obviously, the 65 plus group is not exactly reliable because a lot of those people may not necessarily be on it, so it may be very tight targeting. So this is something, once again, I want to see a lot more than 370 impressions in just 3 clicks. Certainly I'd like to see it close to the 2,000 mark, saying, okay, we know that this is kind of like on this age group. This is where we need to kind of focus and break down our age groups. Maybe by 2 to 3 years on each section. But what's really concerning again is the relevance score. And once again, coming out the gate, I would say it's kind of a crapshoot. It's not always a crapshoot. It can be because your audience can respond to it. And it goes into how, like on AdWords, how this is gauged, how this is, how much they're going to try, cost, charge you to send people to this ad, because obviously this ad is not performing as bad as others in its, peer class. So once again, this can go back to two things, in my opinion, right now that I see off the bat is one being, we don't have the right message, the right image, or we don't have, the right target audience, or I would say that, our conversion rates seem decent. So I wouldn't say there's too much of this. Obviously landing pages always matter. So, we'll look into that. But I would say with those factors, I would say that, we're not giving the right message. The message is not good here. And I see, and I've kind of looked at it, and I see kind of where it's needing to go. Really, one of the main things that I saw here is, is in the ad text, is too much napping during the day hurting your brain health. And, this one resonated with people a lot more than the one that's here on the bottom, saying quickly change your daily routine habits. So, we really, on this, I took that and, or we're going to take that and we're going to really focus on some of the things that are really hitting people. Napping, maybe restless legs at night, focusing on different major diseases. Don't get anything too controversial, but, we want to provide some information. Certainly, with this campaign that we're running, you build out the ebook, however you do it. That's probably another topic for another day. But here we want to focus on the main, headline and ad text, which I do remember doing this campaign earlier. So we've already done this. So this has been a revamp on this, but certainly we're going to take and dial in on the problem side, and the image I don't think really responded really well here. So that's going to be redone, and that's work in progress. Obviously, we don't have enough data here really, to do any sort of day parting. So this, once again, is for another time. But just scroll down here. Let's take a look at our conversions and our goals. I don't know why I started playing around with this a little bit and started adding in, the view content on top of the lead, really on a top level type, something top level, high ended. I'm going to be looking at, focus on, on this level, on a tier 1, lead is all I care about, and so that pixel sparring fund, we've had 15 conversions at a pretty high cost per conversion. And this kind of goes back to another campaign I was just running on. This isn't necessarily indicative of your true cost here on the site, because a lot of times we'll notice that we've got less, like 40% of people that are getting the cheat sheet download or the ebook download or whatever we're offering as debate don't complete the action. And when that happens, let's say a 50% reduction. You're looking at, if on this side is saying, hey, this lead's, costing us $3.5 Aussie dollars per conversion, then, realistically our cost per customer acquisition, or CAC, in this instance would be $7, maybe $8. Depends on a lot of factors here. Obviously, 62% conversion rate on this is pretty solid. Don't really pay attention to, a lot of people get lost in, what's your revenue and all this. These figures on the revenue side is just some, I started off at like maybe say eight Aussie dollars, something like that, I think, and that might be pretty accurate. So it looks like we're almost at break even, which is solid. I mean, running a campaign 3 days deep, not only point out the negatives of it, because there's a lot of negatives. I mean, it's really botched on the relevance side. We're not getting the right message. So that's in the works of being revamped. Obviously, we've got to do a better job of defining our audience and taking out, one of the audiences that we had saved. It's certainly going to help that, as well as placement, several factors. So with what we have here, I would say that, it's a campaign that's, we've got to focus on, revamping the message, pinpointing the pain points, like I always talk about, and then, being able to get them to come there and be a high converter. We don't want to just target necessarily anybody, but in this instance, we want to target people, and we've got to get more specific. I mean, our relevance score here, I like to see, once the campaign is tuned, I mean, 8 plus, 7 plus, it's certainly fine. I mean, there's always ways to find, ways to improve and do better, but, here I'm happy. Let's look at real quick at placement. This isn't always important. You can see here that the audience network, it looks like we're doing pretty good on the, conversion rate's low. However, the cost per conversion is certainly better than anything else we've gotten now. Our cost per conversion on the desktop feed, as you can see here, is nearly 7 Aussie dollars, which is, about double, 2.5 times, 2.25 this mobile feed. Once again, we get some skewed data. I don't like these metrics. I mean, there can be some variables. Once again, without getting into it, maybe you get the setup. Your Facebook feed is, on the public feed is broadcasting the same landing page that that you're trying to run traffic to, or there's some mix-ups or the email sequences. I mean, there's a lot of things that can screw this. So once again, we have to be careful with it, but. Obviously mobile looks like it's one of the best performers, as well as the audience network. That's actually shocking. A lot of times I don't like to use the audience network, a lot of reasons, but it's for another day. Simply reading the data, it's telling us definitely leave out right hand. Definitely leave out right hand. Let's leave out Instagram stream on this. Instagram, US, UK, pretty hot converters. Not seen it. Well, I don't want to say not. On this campaign, it's not performing. Nobody's clicked on it out of 200. So I mean, that's a very small sample size. Once again, this isn't really built for Instagram necessarily. So I kind of ran it just to kind of get an idea of what kind of traffic goes out there on this. It doesn't look like it's too good, and that's probably because we're targeting males that are 50 through 65 plus. Maybe, and I've got it set down to like 35, 38, something like that, just because I want to go in and take a look at the views, and we'll look at that on the new campaign. Yeah, that'll be for another story. So certainly, this one, everything, it's run well. Let's go ahead and let's just lead into what's changed here, or what's going on. Okay. I took the I took the most I took the best performed last time. I've kind of revamped I like to call it wordsmithing. I just wordsmithed the different slogans right here to kind of see if we can't beat what we had, which was this originally. And then, I'm trying to look to see if, something, remaining or staying or to stay. I mean, to staying, it is important to stay sharp. And see, once again, we could go in with another one to say, and this gives us a different way to go ahead and maybe split again. See, it's important to stay mentally focused. So we're kind of branching out here. Just kind of look at what else we got going on. It's not arbitrary, because you'd be surprised how the change, whether we spell it this way or a different way, where it's all caps for free, no bracket. I mean, it changes. And once again, that goes into test. We're going to get rid of these images. So don't look at this. Got it pointed to our ebook on the Clickfunnels side. Good to go. Another good thing to talk about is the actions. And a lot of places I found that watch more is more effective than learn more, especially on the top here. I'm missing it right now. So this gives you a preview of it. We're just fixated on leads. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, so it went a little lower, doing it 5-year increments. Yeah. Okay, focus on males. And what this is going to do is when I run these ads, I'm going to be able to say, let's say the 44 through 49 and the 50 through 55 are the most costly and worst performing ones. Whereas the rest of these age groups, these other 4, are ROI positive at 3 to 1 plus. as you can see, we're running at 46,000 people we're targeting, and it's a little tight. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like it being that tight. Um, hmm. One need to create some new campaigns. We haven't really for this one. When I really get into it, I'm creating audiences based off of a lot more than this. I'm gonna have to open this up somehow. But yeah, I'm gonna have to open this up. I'm gonna have to come back and open this up. 51,000. See if we can get 390,000. I mean, obviously there's more females that would be a target of this in this audience. I just don't think that. I mean, obviously our images are not going to work here, so we're going to have to change it up. If we're going to run it on all, which was going to target 390,000 people, I'd probably want to get a little bit more specific than just that. I'd probably take that out, which is only going to drop us, 10,000 people. So I mean, adding it back in, I don't. Why not? I mean, here where we got our interest, I mean, I think that we're going to do some changes on this. I don't know. 51,000 people. I mean, we know that our male. I mean, once again, that brings up a whole nother topic. We know that 51,000. We know 51,000 are a pretty good target audience for this. With a small ad budget campaign, I think it's going to be more okay to run it small here. I mean, I would love to go wide and be able, and that's exactly what I'll be doing next. To be honest with you, is running at a wide and just testing. I mean, you've got to test every single thing about these things. So let's go ahead and just load it here. Let's leave all this the same. Let's don't get too broad. We're going to focus on the age groups, which is going to produce 192 ads. This is solid because we want to be able to have a lot of opportunity to make money. We're going to go ahead and set it to no optimization. That way we can provide our own. Let's go ahead and run it at, right now we're going to set it just low at 15. This is a really new client that's just getting his feet wet. I'm running his campaigns between 15 and 25 each, and we're going to have shortly 10, 15, 20 running. So this is the build-up process. So this will be kind of interesting to see how it all pans out. So let's look at, let's go ahead and proceed up. When I use this, I always hit save because, man, I've got knocked off and lost my work before. So always save as much as you can because you don't want to lose work. There's nothing like having, to repeat an hour of something that you've already done. So this is done. Let's go ahead and just check the tracking. We're good to go here. Okay. See, once again, yeah, this is good. This is the pixel. And see, it's got set at a currency of 0.01. And this is where we're going to need to make our changes. So let's go ahead and let's get this pixel installed correctly, or make sure it's installed correctly. Let's go head over to the Clickfunnels account. Oh boy, I bet I do not have it set up on this. take these images and I'm gonna save them. I'm gonna take them and do it. I mean, I'm not a designer by any means, but take it and I can drop it. See, some isolation. Probably don't even have them on here. Why I don't have them on here is because I've been working on my laptop. So we'll use these and drop them on. Come here and check this out. Okay, we're gonna add the Facebook code here. Copy this. Let's change this to, we're just gonna make it pretty arbitrary, but to this split pages. So 8 again. Save it out. Just make sure nothing's popping on the front. Opt in. No. This was it's always good to go in here and check these things because yeah. A lot of times, people are doing web development. I mean, they don't understand the different aspects of doing these lead funnels. So make sure everything's good to go. Show you some stats real quick. Ooh, 20% low, very low. That's where we're doing bad on this. There's, I don't think the message is wrong. Everything from the top bottom, message wrong. Uh, Landing page, message. We need to strengthen all these things. So these are going to be the next steps. Is taking what we've learned on Facebook side, and getting better, especially with what we're going to produce, what we just launched with this campaign right here. So these tracking pixels are installed properly. That's solid. Now it's on to putting the rest together and wiring it up.